Hi, welcome to Yoga with Ilona. I'm Ilona, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to get into crow pose and also crane pose, which is a variation on it, and just showing you a few tips and tricks to help you get those feet off the floor. Now, this is one of the first arm balances that people usually try when they go to yoga classes or when they're just learning from YouTube videos. And a lot of the time people ask, oh, can you help me strengthen my arms to get into crow? And it is partly about strength. We do need that core strength, we need a lot of wrist strength, and you will need some level of arm strength. However, this pose is also so much about that balance point, which is going to allow you to get up into the air. And part of the reason that some people find it so tricky is because they have this fear of falling forwards. So the way that you can eliminate that is by putting a cushion just under where your face is going to go, so that you don't feel quite as nervous about face planting onto the mat. And it's not very far to fall, so I think you'll be all right. Please also make sure that you are fully warmed up before doing this video, because we are just going to be going through the steps to get into crow pose. If you want to find a video to help warm you up, you could try my 30-minute yoga workout video, which I will link on the screen now. Or one of my morning yoga warm-up videos would also be great to warm you up, ready to get into crow. But we'll just start by warming up the wrists a little bit. So roll out the wrists, just making circles with your hands. Make sure to really spread your fingers and hear all those little crackling noises as your wrists warm up. Make circles in both directions. And then you can take your hands in front of you with the wrists facing out and just press the fingers into the floor or the mat to feel that stretch down the insides of the wrists. And then you can take the fronts of the hands onto the mat in front of you and just press down gently on the backs of the hands to stretch out the backs of the wrists. And then try walking the thumbs to the outsides and pointing the fingers to face in towards your knees, and then you'll get that really deep flex of the wrists. So I'll turn around to show you. You might only be able to get your wrists down like this far or this far, but just make sure you're feeling a stretch across the fronts of the wrists. And then we'll roll them out again, rolling out the hands. And then just gently turn the head from side to side. Make sure your neck is nice and loose. And roll the shoulders a few times. And then you could take your fingers to your shoulders and roll the elbows back in big circles, warming up those shoulder joints. And then just take the circles in the opposite direction. And then relax. Okay, so now we're going to come forward into the position that we need to be in to get up into crow. So you need to come up onto the balls of your feet with the toes nice and spread into the mat. So you're going to use every millimeter of strength in that front part of your foot. And then you're going to take the hands wide onto the mat. So they need to be about in line with your shoulders. And then you're in a moment going to stack your shoulders over your wrists. Make sure you're really spreading your fingers as wide as they go. Imagine you're like a gecko trying to grip onto a wall. So you need to use all the strength of all 10 fingers, not just kind of, lift the palms off and rely on the pads of the fingers. You need to use the whole strength of both hands to support your wrists as well. So really spread your hand out wide. And then come forward slightly, so you're stacking your shoulders over the wrists, and you need quite a bit of mobility to get up into this position. I find it quite accessible to squat down like this, but some people will need to be lifting up higher from the beginning. And all you're going to do is lift the tailbone. So imagine you're trying to get your tailbone up above your neck, so in line with your neck. You're really lifting your tailbone as high as it can go, and then just sit back down. So just taking a break. You're going to be looking forward the whole time. Don't look down at the floor between your hands, because where your focus goes, that's where you go. So you need to focus forwards, because you're actually moving more forwards than you are up. So we want a slight bend in the elbows, and then you're going to take the knees to the backs of the elbows, not to the outsides, because then we're going to do this, to the backs of the elbows, and bend into the elbows slightly to create that little shelf for yourself. Keep looking forwards, and then you'll see that if you keep lifting the tailbone, your feet will reach a point where they'll just have to come off the floor, because you're tipping so far forward and your tailbone has come so far up. So just keep practicing tipping as far forward as you can, and then you can try just lifting one toe, tapping the other toe on the floor for support, and then lifting the other one. Okay? And then when you've tried that a few times, you're going to be able to lift up for a longer period of time and take some deep, full breaths, and then work into lifting the toes and staying there using your core strength, keeping the gaze forward the whole time, and then releasing out slowly. Okay. So just take a rest here. You could even come up and take a gentle forward fold, rock from side to side, maybe just keeping that lower back nice and open. Take a little break here. And then I'm just going to show you the crane pose variation. So we talk about crow pose, and often in yoga classes you'll see people doing slightly different things. It's because they're doing crow pose and crane pose at the same time. Crow is when your elbows are bent and your knees are just on the backs of the elbows, like I showed you before. Crane is a slightly more advanced version, although some people find it easier, where you're taking the knees right up into the armpits, to the backs of the upper arms, and then trying to keep the arms as straight as possible. And you can get a lot higher up in crane than you can in crow. And then that's the type of arm balance that you'll see people on Instagram lifting up from crane all the way into handstand. We'll get there eventually. So if you want to try crane, it's the same principle. You're just taking your knees further up on the arms. So what I like to do is come up as high as I can with the knees, and then, as with crow, begin to tip forward, and my feet just have to come off the floor. And you can come a lot higher in crane than crow. Okay? And then just stretch out the legs once again. And you could rest in child's pose here, or maybe go into a more gentle practice. I'll link my yin yoga flow on the screen now. So I really hope this was helpful. Please check out my other videos for total beginners, which I'll link in the description. I would love to know what you'd like to see next. If there are any particular poses that you're finding tricky and you want some hints and tips, then I am happy to make those videos for you. Please do hit subscribe and that bell button to get notifications. I post videos every single week on a Saturday morning, and I would love for you to join me. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.